Hi everyone, it's Mike here again, and it is great to share with you a preview of our latest Moonshots Master Series. This series is where we collect all the wisdom that we've learned from over 140 plus shows. And what we do is we study a particular topic and we bring all the best clips and practices together so you get your own little masterclass. And what you'll get in each of the Moonshots Master Series is a show dedicated to your personal transformation, or perhaps to problem solving, decision making, thinking better, all that kind of good stuff. Or lastly, it will be about leadership. Those are the three big buckets that all the Moonshots thinking fits into: personal transformation, thinking better, and leadership. That's right. And we pick all of those great clips from superstars, entrepreneurs, and authors and wrap it all up together. Now, you're only getting a preview of this. If you'd like to listen to the full show, get all the tools and all the goodies that comes with the Moonshots Master Series, visit moonshots.io, click on the members area, and sign up. Be our patron. It's only $1 a week, and you'll get a complete masterclass just for you every single month. So head over to moonshots.io and become a member. But for now, enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Moonshots Master Series. It's episode 17. I'm your co-host, Mike Parsons, and as always, I'm joined by Mark Pearson-Freeland. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Mike, and good morning, Moonshots family members and listeners. Boy, do we have an action-packed episode 17 ahead of us today, don't we, Mike?
Action-packed. It's going to be broad. It's going to be deep, and we shall all leave feeling just that little bit wiser.
That's right, members. We are digging into the idea of Stoicism and particularly the wisdom of the Stoics as part of today's Master Series, episode 17. This is a topic and a mindset and a behavior, I suppose a philosophy, Mike, that we've dug into particularly recently on the Moonshots weekly show with our series on Ryan Holiday. I think there's fair to say, though, that this idea, this behavior, this philosophy breaks out of just the work that we've encountered with Ryan Holiday. I think there's a lot of ideas and frameworks of thinking that fundamentally have come through in a lot of the Moonshots individuals that we've dug into, as well as the habits and the behaviors that we've started to try and adopt into our own lives, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a tip of the hat to Ryan Holiday. But I think we have to confess to our members, Mark, that, after doing the show for over 4 years, we kept studying all these amazing people, and we're like, wow, they all seem to be resilient. They're working on themselves continuously. They're happy to face challenge. They're even of the school of Jocko Willink, who's like, problems are good. It's an opportunity to grow. And we're like, wow. And then Ryan Holiday comes along and says, well, guys, 3 centuries BC, there was a bunch of guys called the Stoics, and they were already onto those same themes. So it was like it all came together into a school of thought, a philosophical way of thinking about life, which I have to say is so applicable to anyone who's trying to be the best version of themselves. They have to encounter hardship, challenge, and we are going to decode all of that in this Master Series, aren't we, Mark?
Yeah, you're totally right, Mike. I mean, really, this idea of Stoicism, this philosophy, is one that can impact positively so many aspects of our lives, can't it? It helps us maximize the positive emotions that we run into. It helps reduce any of the negative emotions that are bound to come up, whether it's work or personal or even some kind of exercise routine that you might have. There's little nagging moments, those voices in your head. This idea and philosophy around Stoicism can help us hone those areas and those touch points that come into our lives in a positive way. We can start to utilize this way of thinking to hone and refine the virtues and the behaviors that we put into our focuses around work or home life, whatever it might be, in order to get, like you say, the most out of our lives. And I think it's amazing as we dive into this brand new series on the Master Series as well as the series that we've had on the Moonshot show, where we can really understand, okay, well, what is the idea of Stoicism? How can it benefit me? Why is it still around, even, over 2,000 years old?
Mark, it's 5,000 because it was 5,000. third millennia BC. So we're going way back.
We're going way, way back. I mean, Mike, it's about time that we did this on the Master Series, isn't it?
Well, it is the moment to dive into wisdom and Stoicism. And if you're ready to embark and get the most out of life, then there will be good times and bad. And if you want to maximize your sense of satisfaction, fulfillment, of realizing your purpose, then this is the show for you. So stay tuned, get out your pen, your pencil, get the espresso coffee flowing, because we're about to do some schoolwork. Mark, where shall we begin?
Well, today we are going to have a number of clips from a number of different voices, all orientated around how to get us inspired around the idea of Stoicism. Then we're going to move into really understanding, the core behaviors before we then move into adopting and picking up some good habits. So first of all, let's hear from a great YouTube series by Therealisedman, who's going to open up the show for us, take us through some of the work from Marcus Aurelius, who is a voice and an individual that we're going to hear a lot from today. And we're going to hear, first of all, how each of us has the power over our own minds.
You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. To understand this quote, let us put it into some context. We live on a small blue planet that resides in a relatively small, insignificant part of the universe. There are more galaxies than grains of sand on planet Earth. As vast as the universe expands outwards, so does it inwards. There are roughly about 50 quintillion atoms in the same grain of sand we were just talking about. What force governs all of this? And what hope do us as humans have of taking control of outside events? Things will happen in life that you will have no control over. It doesn't matter how well prepared you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how smart you are. Good things will happen and devastating things will happen. You will win money. You will make friends. You will have a good time. People will die. People will betray you. You will lose your job. It's all part of the game. The only thing that we have under our control as human beings is the strength of perception, the power of thought. You have dominance over your own mind, and you can exercise freely your will by choosing how you will interpret events. Marcus Aurelius says, remove the judgment, and you have removed the thought. I am hurt. Remove the thought, I am hurt, and the hurt itself is removed. Understand that everything starts with perception. Everything is perception. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, famously said, between stimulus and response there is space, and in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Even after witnessing the horrors of the Holocaust, he was still able to exercise his control over his mind. No one can take that away from you. They can take everything else away from you, but they will never be able to take that away from you. Only you can choose how you interpret things and what you will do. Things can change around you. Chaos can erupt at any moment. However, you can maintain your peace and serenity in your mind. By the same token, you could be living in excellent conditions, in luxury. But if you are a slave to your mind, you will never be able to enjoy it. Everything is perception. Things begin inwards and expand outwards, and not the other way around. So where will you find your strength from? Will you react impulsively to everything like a base animal? Or will you choose your response? When someone wrongs you, will it haunt you for days? Will you bring that negativity everywhere you go? Or will you choose the path of happiness, exercising your free will? Ultimately, you decide what you are going to do with your life. You decide the quality of your consciousness, and you decide what thoughts you are going to entertain. So entertain the right ones and live good.
Oh, Mark, live good. What a great way. What a powerful clip. Our listeners would be forgiven for thinking, what have these guys been smoking? This is feeling very esoteric and philosophical from Mike and Mark. But I think the big idea, there was actually a couple of big ideas in that clip. I think the first and foremost one is we are able to choose our response to all the things that happen in life. Even though we don't control everything in life, we can control our response. And we often find ourselves, and I do this, of playing the victim card. Oh, poor me. Life is conspiring against me. And playing the life of a victim or as a judger, rather than saying, I am 100% responsible for where I am right now. I am not going to blame anyone else. I am going to take full responsibility for my situation, and I'm going to be the one that moves things forward. Nobody else. I'm not going to be dreaming of the lotto ticket. I'm going to do the hard work, and step by step, I'm going to get out of whatever hole I'm in. To me, this is one of the most profound ideas that I've discovered in my life. And I believe that this is at the heart of how you start with Stoicism. That there's crazy stuff around you. You might not control it, but you control your response. Mark, I'm handing to you now the big philosophical talking stick. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think there's a lot of ideas within that opening clip that stand out. I mean, the big thing for me is the admission that we have to give ourselves and the awareness that we need to remind ourselves of, which is bad things will happen. But at the end of the day, you and I and all of us, we have dominance over how we choose to react to those situations. So whether the bad things are life-changing, or perhaps it's as simple as Brené Brown, as we heard within a recent show, you're dropping the coffee cup and then instantly looking to blame her husband because he came in late. Those type of bad things, whether they're small, like dropping something, all the way through to life-changing, we can still control how we react to those things, whether it is, like you say, the pointing the blame game, or instead looking towards how we perceive this moment. Is it a moment to learn from? Is it a moment to get a little bit stronger, a little bit more resilient? This idea for me is so empowering because suddenly it's putting us back into the driving seat of our lives rather than thinking, I can't deal with this. It's so unfair that life has handed me this poisoned chalice or this difficult situation. Instead, it's very empowering for me to hear that I can control those subconscious thoughts that sometimes come up, those little voices.
You have a choice.
I have the choice to entertain them or not. And that's a big takeaway that I think this idea and this philosophy really can teach us. And I think it's so interesting when we think about this idea of ownership and how we react to those moments within our lives, that we do have complete control, much more so than we thought.
Let's take the practical point of view here. Let's say bad things have happened, challenges have happened, unfortunate things have happened in your life, and you want to blame others, judge others, or play the victim card. They are, black and white, that is zero progress towards getting out of those situations. In fact, I think it drags you deeper in it because you're not focused on acceptance and moving forward. You haven't even really accepted the situation. If the business is going bust, if you're super unfit, if you're 20 kilograms overweight, until you accept it. And this is almost like the AA program. It starts with accept that you're an alcoholic. Acceptance is the first part. And then you can take ownership of getting yourself out. To me, this is like if you're feeling hard done by or injustices from others, you really don't make any net progress to getting out of that situation if you're dwelling upon the blame that you want to attribute to others, or playing the victim card to your situation. Without a doubt, there are terrible things in life that happen that you do have to process and get through those emotions. But we're going to hear from Viktor Frankl. And not only was he a psychiatrist who really studied wisdom, happiness, and meaning, he has every right to, because he was a Holocaust survivor. So there are not many people listening to this show that have gone into that sort of suffering. So my point here is we should pay big attention to the Stoics, to Viktor Frankl, all of whom are going to be on this show, because they've had to surmount incredible suffering and get on with life. Get on with living the best version of yourself. And sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it's a little bit hard. But the point here is if you dwell in judgment and victimization in your own world, you're not making any progress. What we have here is a tool set that says accept it, take responsibility, and then move forward. To me, Mark, this is such a powerful setup for this next big thought, which is very deep in the Stoic world, which is discipline. But before we get into this next clip from one of our favorite experts, Ryan Holiday, I think those who have shown great discipline in becoming members of our show, we need to tip the hat to them, wouldn't you say, Mark?
I think it is only due diligence and justice that we call out the individuals who are on the other side of this microphone mic from you and I and the Moonshots production team. And that's our members, without whom we can't keep the lights on, and we fully appreciate the support that they give us. So please, first of all, welcome our members who have been with us for over 12 months, Mike. The list just keeps on growing. And that includes Bob, John, Terry, Marjolaine, Ken, Dietmar, Byron, Marjan, and Connor. Thank you guys so much for being with us for such a long period of time. But again, similar to last week, who is hot on our heels? That includes Yasmin, Lisa, Sid and Mr. Bonjour, Paul and Berg, Calman and David, Joe, Crystal, Ivo, Christian, Hurricane Brain and Samuela, Kelly and Barbara, Andre and Matthew, Eric, Abby, Hosey and Joshua, Chris, Deborah, Lassie and Steve, Craig, Lauren, Javier and Daniel, Andrew, Reve, Yvette and LGV, Karen, Raul, PJ and Nicoara, Ola, Ingram, Sarah, Dirk, Emily, HB, and our brand new members, Mike. The family keeps on growing. Please welcome Greg, Karthik, Venkata. Welcome our brand new members to the Moonshots and Patreon family.
Thank you for your membership, your patronage, and your support. We are super grateful. Thank you ever so much. And reach out to us if you have ideas, suggestions, and thoughts. Just head to moonshots.io and click on all of those buttons. But now I think it is time to go to one of the greatest inspirers that our show has discovered, Mr. Ryan Holiday.